Полина Сергеевна Плешак поступает из Московского университета, извините, с докладом на тему маркирования множественного числа в именной группе в языке какчикель. Я знаю, как произносится.
Actually, my slides are in English, so does anyone need that I speak in English, or nobody?
The hand was raised, so...
Yes, English.
Please go on.
I can present the speaker again, introduce the speaker in English. Okay.
Please.
Don't click on the text, click on the object.
I tried.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So my talk is about plural marking in kakchikel, and kakchikel is a Quichean language, Maya language spoken in Guatemala. My data is collected during the field work in Patsun. It's Chimaltenango in Guatemala this summer in June. So the structure of the talk will be: first I provide some background about number marking in this language and raise some problems and questions. And these are then I describe properties of one particular particle tag. It's a diminutive particle, and but maybe it's shifting to a plural marking particle. I will discuss the position in the structure, its diminutive properties and distinct properties, and also properties of tag, comparing with adjectives, because it's in the same domain and they're like quite similar, so it's important to compare them too. And then I will discuss that always data provide problems for any analysis that I try. So plural marking in kakchikel is very interesting. So only a closed set of nouns has morphologically plural form. All other forms are like without any marking, even if they are plural. Those which do have this plurality are persons and some animals and some very important cultural concepts for kakchikel people, as grammar say. So here you can say that achin, achi-a, and this or chikop-chikopi, these two vowels with a glottal stop is a marker of plurality, and also star. And some adjectives also have morphological plural forms, like nim, nim, ak. So ak is the form for most of the adjectives. For those which lack plural forms, we also would like to have some means to express plurality. And the first option is the plural agreement on the verb. Another option are numerals, relative clauses, and this diminutive particle, my favorite. So let's see the examples. Plural agreement on the verb. Here we see this sher, pashich. Is the plural marking of it indicates. Oh, my example. It indicates the plurality of the object. But the problem is that plural agreement is optional in most cases in kakchikel. So the same thing, you can see the same sentence, but without plural agreement. But it can do both, broke the plate or the plates. And how Henderson says plural agreement is obligatory for first and second person arguments. These do agree. Animate plural subject, both ergative and absolutive subjects, and that's very interesting part. And other subjects and objects, just as you wish. So numerals. These trigger like plural agreement on the noun, or like if you are if there are three, so it's plural noun phrase. Relative clauses. What I mean, that these girl sisters went to school. So those who are sisters of this girl went to school. But this mean is optional. So in some contexts we can omit this e and just say like the sister of the girl went to school, but everyone knows that she has maybe 2 or 3 of them. So we understand that it's plural. They went only. Here on the verb we understand, because it's human subject. And the last mean is the diminutive particle tak. Here, so this tak is the plural form of the diminutive particle. So we understand that it's plural form, and here even the agreement on the verb. The problem. I will concentrate on the tak, on the particle tak, because it's very interesting. Because diminutive, why is it diminutive? That the only thing which is obligatory to concord is diminutive particle. So different grammars give like superficial descriptions, and some of them just say it's a plural particle, and others say, oh, it's diminutive emphatic particle, you can emphasize plural, something like that. And a question, is it just a form, a plural form of a diminutive, or already something more grammaticalized? And where is this particle in the hierarchical structure of the noun phrase? So, as I said, it shares some properties with singular t. I will discuss their place within the noun phrase, semantic preferences of tak because it's diminutive, and properties unattested for t. So the place, they are within the noun phrase after the determiners. So hunti uk, a skirt. So first is one, like a, like an indefinite article, then diminutive, then the skirt. And ritakluk, so here always determiner or number, and not reverse order. So it's within the noun phrase and not something like joined to or already to DP, what is suggested for Yucatec Maya. So T and ta can precede prenominal adjectives. So we have noun phrase with prenominal adjectives. Die gebelsten. So first we have particle, then adjective, then a noun. The same we can see with plural form. It's okay. There are also post-nominal adjectives in kakчикель. They are probably reduced relative clauses, so then I exclude them from the analysis, but let's see what is going on. So it's okay when we have like diminutive particle before the adjective as it is after the noun. Another possibility is that the diminutive particle precedes the noun, but the adjective follows. And the last thing is that in plural, tak can follow adjectives, but asterisk is here. Sorry. It's impossible to have this word order with gebelsten. It's ungrammatical. So that's already challenging, I think. And what else? They don't seem to occur in the noun phrase twice. So we don't have all the combinations because we already see that not all is possible. But still, here you have examples with the impossibility of two of them in one phrase. So semantic preferences of so we already see that they are a little bit distinct. There is an adjective which with semantic small which always requires a diminutive particle before itself. So we cannot use this form without diminutive particle. And tak agrees with this rule and behaves like a normal diminutive particle. Another thing which is distinct in tak is that it can be inserted into a compound noun. So the roof is the hair of the house, and ruihas is the roof. So ruihas is like one compound word. And if I like to say that they're under the house, under the roof of the little house or something like little roof, I don't know. So it's impossible to insert this diminutive particle to say ruitihas. But we can insert tak. And they say that it wouldn't mean of little houses. It's just yes, plural. It somehow introduces plurality. I still don't understand how, but it can be inserted into the compound. Another thing is that plural tak. So about plurality first. Here, a plural noun phrase, chikopi, is the plural form of the animal. Can be introduced into the sentence either with a determiner or without that. And si is the dog doesn't have plural form. Si is always si, and it cannot be introduced without a determiner. What is with tak? Yes, tak helps with that. So that's another interesting thing about plural diminutive. Because singular diminutive fails with this mission. So what we see that tak can follow pronominal adjectives and t cannot. Tak can be inserted in a compound and t cannot. Tak seems to be lower in the structure than t is, to me. And another fact is tak listens as plural, as morphological plural does. Now let's compare tak and adjectives. So we have seen that they are somewhere in the domain between the head noun and the number and numerals, for example. So maybe this tak, this particle, diminutive particle, is just an adjective like modifier, and what supports this assumption is that the plural form is somehow similar. So ak like markers serve for adjectives, and the tak is like ti, ak. So ak is like morphologically similar to plural adjectives. So their position, and let's discuss number concord. We see that there is the difference between adjectives and tak, in that tak cannot follow. It can be only preposed to a noun and cannot follow the nouns as other adjectives do. Plural concord of prenominal adjectives is optional. I omitted a glottal stop there, but it's not important. So nim, nimak, takabeh. So both are possible, nim and nimak here. But tak has always to be tak. It's impossible to say t in any plural context. What I would like to explain in my analysis is that proposed adjectives before tak can be both plural and singular, and the problem that it's impossible to have an adjective before singular t. Another fact that I would like to explain is why singular is impossible after tak, and why only t. Oh, okay, but it's already said. So I would like to think that both these diminutive and adjectives are adjuncts, because it would be very strange to have them as obligatory projections, and they don't change the category. So I would assume that they have to be adjuncts. And for singulars, it is the order is tricky, which is interesting. So probably they have to be the adjuncts to different projections, but for now I just don't know how to deal with that. Another thing is that agreement in terms of probe and goal is incompatible with this data, because we have like two or more positions with unvalued features, and only one, the number head with valued feature. So we want to deal with it in another way, and maybe it would be feature agreement as it was proposed by Plешак. The feature agreement is when we have here a feature, it's assigned to the full projection and then assigned to all that is below this projection. So we can explain this order if we assume that both are adjuncts to noun phrase and P projection. We also can explain this order, and we can explain that it's impossible singular after attack because it agrees like monotone. So to all the projection, the features are assigned. But a problem still remains why tag can follow adjectives. Because is it singular or plural? Okay, I will be there. So maybe the possible solution is that tag is reanalyzed as a sort of morphological marker, and it is somewhere here in the nominal projection, maybe even little np, and it checks that the feature cannot be singular, so it's only for plural context. And if it is lower, so it is okay for it to follow the adjectives. But the problem too. For now, I cannot imagine any analysis that would predict that there is a possibility of singular before tag, because all these models for feature assigning predicts that the whole noun phrase, the whole projection, and all within it has to bear these features. So I need your advice here. Thank you.
Yeah, in English, right? Yes. Okay. Thank super interesting and a lot of data. Maybe I wasn't able to, digest all of it at once. So I was very curious about. Okay, so you said that there's a diminutive morpheme or
Particle.
particle that also has a certain role in the number
Yes.
domain. So, and I thought immediately that, it's not such a unique situation, right? So in Russian, for example, we have the suffix k, which serves as a diminutive, like, I don't know, if you attach it to a name, like Vanya, Vanka, or something like that, but then it also serves as a kind of a nominalizer that results in a count noun. So if you say something stolitrovy, you then have stolitrovka, which is a kind of a count thingy. So, and then I thought that maybe this is not so different from what is going on in kakchikeli, in fact, because, so have you considered an analysis where the diminutive, what it does is it attaches kind of low, where to the level where it turns, so it imposes count meaning on the stem or something like that. So maybe it attaches to the root, which is not, neither mass nor count or whatever your theory is, and then it turns it into a count noun. So something that is available for plural interpretation, for plural formation and stuff like that, and then maybe the plural itself is empty there, but then what this morpheme gives you is a domain that is appropriate for count interpretations, for example.
Thank you very much. I will check for the analysis for Russian, but I thought about if it's somewhere low, but the problem is that for singulars, it seems not to work very good, to be very low.
Yeah, but then maybe it's just the development of this particular particle. So it's not like the diminutive meaning is this meaning. It's like a kind of a regular way for these things to go diachronically, that they can then start doing this. So I'm not saying that, so maybe you cannot retain the uniform analysis for this particle as a diminutive and as a sort of a count morphology, but they are related, and that happens pretty much, well, in many places, well, not many, I don't know many, but at least somewhere else as well. And so, and also related to that, I think the question is whether, when you have this form, plural form that uses tak, is it really strictly plural, the interpretation? So
Yes.
If you check in downward entailing context, for example.
The interpretation with t or tak is every time is very strict to according to number.
So,
singular,
tak,
tak, plural.
question, like, do you have...
I'm sorry, maybe other people can ask questions, and then if there's enough time, you can continue with your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can talk in Dima was the next one.
How exactly can analysis fail to predict adjective singular plus tak plus noun while excluding tak plus adjective singular plus noun if you presume that it could be, for example, reversibly dependent therefore on the command and therefore with complex adjective phrase. So adjective plural may have a more complex structure than adjective singular, and then when you have adjective singular tak, and tak doesn't see command adjective, so it doesn't check its features. But when you have tak adjective and tak see commands the full adjective phrase and therefore checks its features. So.
The problem is not that we have plurality under tak and singularity.
Yes, you can have.
We can both. Yes.
Of course, you can, because that wouldn't lead to conflicting features. But if you have singular and in this second domain of tak, then you have problem. And the noun itself is, of course, is unmarked. If it's unmarked, it's, well, unmarked.
I wouldn't like to have unmarked adjectives. I would like that they always
No, I mean
require...
noun is unmarked until it receives number. So for noun the number is structural, and And for adjectives, it's feature.
Yeah, I thought about that, and that didn't seem to me logical. But maybe I'll try more. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I'm wondering to what extent would you need to still have this semantic relationship between the singular diminutive and plural diminutive? Because what usually happens when, or what often happens when plural markers get grammaticalized, they stem usually from some nouns. Like very often it is, for example, the quantifier all, which basically loses this quantifying function but just retains the plurality component of the meaning, or sometimes it's partitives which retain the plurality component of the meaning but lose all this partitive stuff. So why do you need kind of retain the diminutive component basically in analyzing basically the synchrony of tag? Just another like a side remark in quote also about which also has a well, it does have basically fully grammaticalized marker tag, the plural, which is both on the verb. Well, no, I think it's only on the verb, so only marking the participants. And when it is related, it's just because it's so strikingly singular.
So I haven't got the last point. Yeah.
Yes, has this optional plural marker on the verb. Which is tag, and I was wondering, and it's kind of fully grammaticalized to the extent that it is actually not always obligatory, but it's otherwise.
Oh, thank you. I will check Tochel about. Thank you.
Yeah. But do you need?
I think I don't retain these semantics. I don't want to this diminutive to be really diminutive. So it's okay.
Right. So it has basically no relation whatsoever to the singular diminutive. Right? So basically, it kind of grammatically, it kind of focuses on the plural meaning
yes.
of its plural form, basically, but not on this.
Thank you.
I said.
Yeah, related to Lisa's question, I was going to suggest that you look at Hagit Borer's work, her book. She has a book that looks at different morphemes that can function to make something countable, so that seems to be kind of the way to go. But I was also wondering if you looked at the interplay of this tag with classifiers, if this language has them.
Doesn't have classifiers.
Okay. So maybe this.
But I've seen Borer's book, yeah.
Maybe this tag is a classifier, even if it's only one and not different classifiers for different nouns. But that would be another route to.
Oh, thank you.
Practically what the suggestion is.
Right, exactly.
So just turn it into something
That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, I think it looks at least for.
But I think something called about it works basically in the sense of pronouns, which you don't need to quanticize first in order to make them plural, right? So, I mean.
Yeah, but it's different from.
But it's the same. I mean, I know, but it's exactly tag. So,
yeah, but I mean, probably, either it's further
Okay, sorry, can I, any more questions? If not, I would like to ask my own question actually. Sorry. I apologize. So, when you have variation between the order of tag and adjectives, right? You can have tag, adjective, noun, and noun, adjective, adjective, tag, noun. Considering the fact that tag also can enter into compounds, have you considered the idea that the difference is not in the position of tag, but in the status of the adjective? For example, it's incorporated if it's closer to the noun, or it has some durant status, it has less structure. For example, have you tried modifying it by things like very or coordinating adjectives? Like tag, very adjective, noun would be ungrammatical, and very adjective tag, noun would be grammatical, because when tag is outside, the adjective is incorporated or somehow has less structure, or cannot be coordinated.
For now, I don't remember my data, but I have to check it. But I had many problems to add something more to a noun phrase, so adjectives
in any position.
In any position.
What about like adjective coordination? Like
adjective coordination.
You just repeat the noun for the full noun phrase.
Yes, I will check. Thank you.
Yeah, because that would be, it might be the difference not between the position of tak, but the adjectives might have different status. They might be somehow deranged if they are close.
But why is why do we have difference between singular and plural?
That's a different story. Because tak, the plural tak, I mean, your story is probably the plural tak is separate from the singular tak. That I don't disagree with. I mean, the position might be clarified if you look at from the point of view of the adjectives. This is a separate point. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay.